Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mafia Beats Family Podcast.
I'm Mafia Mom.
And I am Mini Mafia. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more amazing content.
So, Mini Mafia, how you doing this week?
I have been on and off. I am a little sick.
Yeah, we're both feeling a little under the weather, so you'll have to excuse.
Although I am very excited about my basketball season starting.
Yes, very excited, right? And we're coaching his team, so that should be a lot of fun.
Yes.
We just had our first practice Tuesday night. So it should be a good season. It's 5th and 6th grade boys, and they got a lot of talented players on the team. So welcome everybody in the chat. Glad you could be with us tonight. We know we haven't been on for a few weeks, live at least. Unfortunately, you guys understand life gets really busy this time of year, and haven't been able to just sync the schedules up. Also want to give you a heads up that we will not be able to go live next week. We do plan on doing a show, but we have basketball practice, so there's just not going to be a way for us to be on at the right time slot here. So we probably won't talk to you guys all before the holidays, so please have a very safe and wonderful holiday, and we will definitely be back afterwards, hopefully discussing the Bills on their way to winning the division, right? After the Miami dropped a game. What did you think of the Bills game last week, though, the Chiefs game?
It was closer than I would like it, but we finally pulled out a win.
We did, and it was a close one, and like those are the ones we usually win. And Jason N here, you want to read his comment?
Yes. The Bills need to win, not to mention my wife is a Dallas fan.
Wife being a Dallas fan, that's rough. My apologies. My spouse is an Eagles fan, so I feel your pain a little bit there. However, we were all cheering for the Bills in that game because the Bills needed it so much more than the Eagles. And even the Eagles fans I knew fully admitted that the Bills were getting robbed. So it is what it is. We'll move past that weeks ago. We don't need to focus on it. But my condolences that your wife's a Cowboys fan. It makes it rough.
And we renewed the stat that the Chiefs have now lost back-to-back games this season.
It was big. It was big. And the Mahomes meltdown at the end. We participated with the rest of Bill's Mafia and sent a box of tissues to Arrowhead with Patrick Mahomes' name on it. So hopefully he came into work this week and is greeted with a bunch of wonderful presents from Bill's Mafia, because if you're going to act like a crybaby on TV, people are going to call you out. And I would expect nothing less if Allen acted like that. I would expect somebody to do that too. Like, it was ridiculous. I don't want to spend too much time talking about that call, but at the end of the day, I'm sorry that it took away a really cool play, but it was the right call. And for all of the everybody trying to spread now, all the Chiefs fans, about how Von Miller was offside to play later. No, he wasn't. The ball is snapped in the frames of the pictures that they keep showing. And if you can't find a freeze frame where he's offsides, then there's no way the ref's naked eye was going to see it. But it doesn't matter. The Bills have been on the bad end of enough calls. Like, that wasn't even a bad call. So it seems like they're trying to move past it now. But beyond the call itself, what did you think of the way the Bills played?
There's definitely some off moments. Bernard needs to step up. He missed a couple tackles. Poyer getting hurdled.
Yeah, that one was a little bit rough. Jason, I see you in the chat here too, Jason, and thank you for joining the channel. There's a bunch of people that are involved in the channel, and they put out some really fantastic content. So welcome, and glad to have you, and definitely check out some of those other shows as well.
Yes.
My opinion on the game, the offense came out really strong. They scored 14 points early on. It was a little bit disheartening to see the offense struggle under Brady like it had been with Dorsey, because he had seemed to have had a handle on keeping that energy up. But even in the moments where they were struggling, they were still moving the ball, and the opening still seemed to be there. We hurt ourselves with some penalties at different points in the game. The Josh Allen turnover, there's a lot of interceptions that I don't put on Josh, and it's not that I just am a Josh defender. I think he tries to do a lot, and I can't fault a guy for that. That interception was 100% on Josh. He just threw a bad pass. He made the wrong read. He didn't see the defender. It was a bad play. Jason N here saying, I watched the game and Tony was lined up like that multiple times. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't, Tony he is a disaster on cleats, man. I don't know what is up with that guy. Like, I thought that it was a good pickup when the Chiefs picked him up last year, and he is just over and over and over going to hurt them. But the Chiefs have nobody else to go to. It's like when Gabe Davis is screwing up for us. That's great. Like, you want to do something about it, but who else are you going to put in? Who can you possibly put in that's going to give you a better option? I agree, but obviously the coaching staff doesn't see it that way. But the Chiefs have it even worse because they have other receivers that are also screwing up. Sky Moore has had some issues. Rice, their rookie, very talented, a lot of potential, but he fumbled in the game. So a lot of different issues. They held Sherfield when Josh threw his interception and they never called the penalty. Okay, that's fair, Jason. I didn't personally see that, but I don't doubt it. There was like I'm being told now that other people did see it as well. So, I'll have to go back and look because now I'm interested. Maybe that is what happened. It looked like a really bad play, but it almost looked so bad that something else had to have happened. So thank you for the heads up. I'm definitely going to go back and take a look at that. What did you think of the way the defense played, though? The defense finally, the end of a game with a lead, figured out how to get off the field.
The defense stood up. Like, they made some incredible plays. I think we definitely had one sack, and
a lot of pressures though. We didn't get to him as much as I would have liked, but a lot of pressures.
Kadarius Toney offsides. We almost had a sack. Like if he wasn't lined up offsides, and we could have gotten there couple milliseconds earlier, it would have been a sack.
Yeah, I'll say this kind of leads into my recap, my players of the game. I'm going to read the comment here from Carl. The best 3 plays of the game were just after the offsides call on Tony. Vaughn caused a hurry and an incompletion. Ed tipped the next pass, and then pressure that caused the incompletion. Way to close it. I agree, and that's one of the things that's driving me crazy about these Chiefs fans online. I interact with a lot of fans, and Chiefs fans, for the most part, are cocky, but they've earned that right. They've won 2 Super Bowls and been in 3, but they can't see this clearly at all. That play happened on second down, and there was over a minute left, and the Bills had all 3 timeouts. So even if that happens, let's say that the penalty never happens and they score. Allen is getting the ball back with 1:12. He needs a touchdown to take the lead and win the game in all 3 timeouts. Anybody who thinks that play was the end of the game, I think this is your first Bills-Chiefs game because that is never the end of it. Like, that's just not how those 2 teams play each other. And then beyond that, so then they had 2nd and 15, and they had 3 opportunities to pick up 15 yards, and they didn't gain another yard. So all of these people crying about how that call was like the last play of the game type of thing, you're ridiculous. Mahomes had 3 chances to pick up 15 yards. He just needed field goal range to tie it, and he couldn't get it to his guys. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you're upset that you lost and the Chiefs offense is stalling because you haven't had to live through that before. Mama, Minnie, good evening, fam. Hey, Beth, how you doing tonight? Glad you could be with us. We've missed talking to you guys. You want to say hi?
Hello, Beth. We have missed you very much.
So this is going to lead me into my players of the game from last week. Defensively, I am going to go with, I had 2 to kind of point out. One was Douglas. I was very, very excited when we brought Rasul Douglas here. I thought he was going to be a good, solid player for us and be able to really fill a big need that we had. Did not expect him to play the way he is now. To be honest with you, and I love Trey White. This is not a shot at Trey White by any means. He is one of my favorite players on the team. Trey White fully healthy and ready to go, and Rasul Douglas, I don't know who the CB1 is there. And I'm being very honest about that. Rasul Douglas plays very physical. He's bigger. He's stronger. And he just seems to be able to glue to his guy in a way that Trey is very, very good in coverage, and he's very smart. He's a very cerebral player. But physically speaking, he doesn't have the abilities that Douglas has. I have been very impressed with Douglas. What have you thought of Douglas so far since we picked him up? But he's my defensive player of the game.
I have loved Douglas. I didn't really expect much when he first came here, probably because I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
But now that I've seen him play, he's been playing out of his mind.
Agreed.
This is no shot at Trey White. Like Mafia Mom here just said. Douglas is way more physical than White is.
Yep.
He's like Sauce, but a step up. But he's a little less physical because Sauce can get handsy at times.
He can. I don't think he's quite. I think Sauce has the potential to be a Darrelle Revis 2.0 if he could stop holding and grabbing guys. I don't know if Douglas is that good, but he fits our scheme really, really well, and he's a great addition to that. Beth saying that she really likes Douglas as well. He's been a great gift. We needed to keep him. Period. I agree. Can you guys imagine, just for a moment, okay, in this perfect world where Daquan Jones comes back, who, for the record, was winning at the line of scrimmage more than any other D tackle in the league when he got hurt. Matt Milano, all-pro, superstar, Superman, glue of the defense linebackers back. Trey White is back on the back end. I hate to say this, but maybe we move on from Poyer. I love Poyer, but his age is starting to show. Maybe we keep Rapp. I think Rapp has done fine. Bernard with another year under his belt. And now you have Trey White and Rasul Douglas playing your corner spots. What offense is moving the ball against that defense? I mean, I don't know who the shutdown corner is if those two are both healthy and good. Now, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep both. I don't know what their plan is, but I am very, very excited about Douglas staying, and I hope he does.
Was a lot cheaper.
I don't know how that comes out. I've never looked at the contracts.
Well, I would think he would be less. I think he would be cheaper than like Patrick Surtain or Jair.
Yes, he's cheaper
because they're more like superstar, like super big corners.
But if he keeps playing at this level, he's going to need that money. So
if he like you said, if he keeps playing like this, he might ask for a contract. That might get a little like iffy.
You mean a big contract? Because he's definitely going to ask for a contract. Yeah, I haven't looked up the financials of it, so I'm not sure where he stands contract-wise.
I think we still have Brian B. Like, I don't know what his name is, but Bean?
Bean. Oh, Brandon Bean, yes.
Yes, Brandon Bean. That's it. I'm pretty sure he worked out Milano's contract to keep both Hyde and Poyer.
Yes.
So he's done that a bunch in the past.
Yeah, he can work some magic, restructure, things like that.
I think he's going to try and keep Douglas and White, but I think Douglas might surpass White because he's been injured the last 2 years. He's barely played any football in 2 years, so.
Yeah, it's rough. We'll definitely have to see what happens, but that's more of an off-season conversation. So we'll get back to the current season. But it's a good point. If we could keep both of them financially, it'd be a good thing. Jason N here, this is a great comment here. Very, very, very great point and analogy.
Douglas is like Diggs. Douglas is like Diggs, aggressive.
A defensive Diggs.
Yes, a defensive Diggs.
Aggressive. Yeah, I agree. And he's not afraid to mix it up. I like seeing him a lot. Carl here saying Trey White is my favorite player and I want him back. 2 number 1 corners are a blessing. I would not be surprised if Trey went ahead and called it a career, an ACL and an Achilles may do him in. I understand where you're coming from, but watching how hard he worked to get back after the ACL and watching his reaction when he went down with the Achilles, he's still pretty young. I mean, not young, but
he's only like 28?
He's in his 7th year, I believe. He was drafted in 2017. So, yeah, he's in his 7th year. I mean, there's corners that play past 10 years and then transfer over to safety and still play. So,
Gilmore,
I don't know. It's
he's
possible.
Way older.
Mm-hmm. And he's still playing at a high level.
He's still a number 1, number 2 corner on all teams.
Yeah, he just played a phenomenal game against A.J. Brown.
33, 34.
So I think you could be right. And he has a family and he has kids and he has a world outside of football. And he's a very, very intelligent person. So he's going to be successful in life no matter what he does. I hope that he doesn't hang him up, and I don't believe he will at this point. I just hope Bean can figure out how to keep both guys. Spears Bills Sports Talk here saying, I love Poyer and Hyde, but their age is showing. I agree, but I think more so with Poyer than Hyde. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing it. I got a soft spot for Hyde, but I don't see Hyde taking the bad angle nearly as often as I see Poyer. If you've noticed, they've moved Poyer down to have him play in the box a lot more often, and I think that's because he has lost a step. They're just such a great tandem, but they're definitely starting to lose a step. All right, Beth B here. If we can keep Douglas and White comes back and still playing at a high level, we can move Benford to safety, like we talked about, and Elam. I don't know what to do with him. Yeah, I don't. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Elam. I'm not sure what's happening with him. I think Elam. Benford would be a really, really interesting safety. I don't know if I've heard that idea before, but I like that. He's so instinctual. I could definitely see that. He just doesn't have quite the speed to keep up with some of the receivers. So I think safety could be a great position for him. All right, I'm going to real quick here just point out my other defensive player of the game, and then you can give yours. I was just giving it to the line in general. I thought keeping Patrick Mahomes, I think he had one rush for 8 yards in the whole game. And Mahomes and Allen are the same quarterback in that when they get their legs going, you're in trouble. And the line did a phenomenal job, not just rushing the passer, but making sure that they collapsed the pocket on him so that he couldn't escape out the outside. We know as Bills fans, when they do that to Allen, he gets frustrated and he starts to make mistakes. That's exactly what they did to Mahomes. So it was really, really impressive performance by that line. Yes. Who would be your defensive player of the game?
Before I share mine, a comment by Jason N. Trey White's contract, 2 years, $22.9 million remaining on his contract through 2025. He carries a $16.6 million cap hit against the $10.3 million dead in 2024, where a $1.5 million roster bonus will be due on March 17th.
Okay.
That is a lot of money.
It is, and I think Trey White, given the person he is and given that he has been in Buffalo his whole career, I would not be surprised if they restructured that contract and maybe paid him slightly less or spread it out over some more years, just because of the injuries and because I think he's going to want to stay if he continues to play. So thank you for that. I appreciate you looking that up and sharing that with us. Obviously, with that kind of dead cap hit, we're not cutting them. That's not going to happen. Not if you're going to pay out 2/3 of the contract anyway. So we'll see. We'll see how it shakes down. Brandon Beane is a wizard with the salary cap, so we'll see what happens. So who would be your defensive player of the game? And if you guys have defensive player of the games, please share them. I know we had one person share it there, and I didn't read the comment because I think Mini Mafia might be agreeing with you here. But if you have a defensive player of the game you want to call out, please go ahead.
So my defensive player of the game is AJ Epinesa. He had that tipped ball for the interception. He is great at that. I've seen him do it at least more than 15 times, and that's a lot for a lineman.
Yeah.
To get a ton of interceptions. In our person, behind the camera, you told me that that you think AJ Epinesa has more interceptions.
Same amount.
The same amount of interceptions as Sauce Gardner, which is very impressive. Since I don't think AJ Epinesa has won a Defensive Player of the Year award.
No, definitely not. I don't think he
Sauce
will either.
Gardner won the Rookie of the Year.
Yep. Yeah, so as of right now, AJ Epinesa has the same number of interceptions in his career as Sauce Gardner. So it's very impressive.
Even though Epinesa has played longer, he is just coming out. And Sauce has
Epinesa has only been around 1 year longer, so it's not a long time.
It's not very much longer, but he's still
Epinesa is one of the unsung heroes of the season to me. He's turned that corner. He was a player that would make a splash play here or there, but then he would disappear for long stretches. He has made his presence known when he's been out there, and I've been very, very impressed with AJ Epinesa this season. I think he's a big reason why the pass rush hasn't looked weaker with Von Miller not being Von Miller. I think it's a big reason why is Leonard Floyd and AJ Epinesa. He stepped up and he deserves a contract extension at this point.
A comment by Beth B. I'm going with you. So, did you see Gruden running with a wide receiver like a CB? Biggest CB I've ever seen.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
He looked massive. He was like 25 yards down the field on the sideline, and he was step for step.
Turned around.
It was crazy though. He was step for step with him. I mean, that's tough to do. So, yeah,
I think it was
that was a great play.
Or
it was CAEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I agree with you. Gruden had a good game. He also had a half a sack. So, yeah, it was definitely a good performance by him as well. I think you could call out anybody on that D line. I also think just an honorable mention here. Teron Johnson, I thought, played probably his best game of the year. He didn't, from my memory, he didn't miss any tackles. If he got his hands around a guy, he brought him down. He was in good position almost the entire game. I don't remember him getting beat. There was a few plays that were made on him, but it wasn't because he was out of position. I thought Teron Johnson played a really strong game. He made some plays in the run game. I was impressed with him. So Teron Johnson's another one that I think did really, really well this past week. And we're going to need all of them to step up again this week. So more snaps, the better for AJ Dunn 716 says. And I agree with you. And it's, there's just never a break. Like that pass rush just keeps coming at you. And then Beth saying that she's agreeing with me on the Teron Johnson, that he was great too. I agree, Mama. So yeah, I think the whole defense honestly deserves some credit. I agree with you that I think Bernard had some moments. It wasn't his best game, but overall the defense played really, really well.
A comment by Spears Bills Sports Talk. The Bills are going to win out the greatest story ever.
So if this became their Super Bowl story, it would be one of the best underdog, count them out, they're back in Super Bowl stories ever. Like this team has no business after the games they've lost sniffing the division title. And I'm telling you, Miami hasn't beat a winning team in like a year and a half, and they still have to play Dallas and Baltimore and us. And we only need them to drop either Dallas or Baltimore, and then us to win.
Both.
And we would take over the division.
Like
them losing to Tennessee on Monday night, which anybody who didn't see that game, if you can watch it, go back and watch it. It was an amazing game. A 14-point lead with 4.5 minutes left, and you let a rookie quarterback make a fool of your supposed MVP caliber quarterback. It was unbelievable. It was a great game. It really was.
Wait, a rookie quarterback?
Yep. Levi's. Yeah, he played out of it. He played a great game. He reminded me a lot of Josh Allen, actually. If anybody did watch that game.
Who's Levi?
Levi's. He's the quarterback for the Tennessee Titans.
Oh.
He had the play in the first quarter where he rolled out and he took on Jalen Ramsey shoulder to shoulder and just ran right over him. It was unbelievable. Got out of that snack with Chubb.
It's like Josh Allen in, I think, the Dallas game or the Titans game. He dropped the snap, he picked it up, and he just slammed the guy.
That was Dallas.
Like, boof.
It was Dallas from 2019. I always say that was the game where I knew Josh Allen was different, and this wasn't just another quarterback in the rotation of horrible Bills quarterbacks and mediocre quarterbacks. Josh was different, and that Dallas game in 2019 was the one that showed me he was different. Okay, I'm going to call out real quick an offensive player of the game. I don't know if you have one as well, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because later on he's going to get brought back up because of something that was said last week. So my offensive player of the week is going to be Cook. I thought Cook, especially early on in the game, really created a spark for us. I love that Brady is having the running backs flush out of the backfield earlier to give Josh a target underneath. And I think it has made a massive difference. There's not a lot of changes an OC can make halfway through a season to really implement what he sees, his vision. That little change has made a huge difference. And I think it shows on the scoreboard and on the stat sheet. But Cook ended up with 141 all-purpose yards. He had 5 receptions, 10 rushes, and he ran for 5.8 yards a carry. And then obviously he had the touchdown catch. So really provided the team a spark when it needed it. And it was an impressive game by Cook.
A comment by Jason, and for the love of God, call up Fournette. Yeah, why do we bring up playoff Lenny if we're not going to use him? I think we're going to put him in this game. Not much, just to get him like in the groove of things, see how he plays. And then depending on the next games forward, then I think we might have him in a little bit more and more if he does well.
Yeah.
Because we need to get him prepped for the playoffs if he's going to stay playoff ready.
Yeah, I totally agree. I want to see Fournette. I will say that I think what has stopped Fournette from playing
It's Ty Johnson.
I think Ty Johnson has played so well as RB2, 3, depending on how you look at it, how you look at Murray, that I think that it's hard to justify pulling Ty Johnson out for even a question mark that you think but it's still a question mark. We haven't seen him play with the Bills. So Beth B here saying, I don't know. I really like Johnson as a running back. He's been really good, and Murray is still getting us first downs. I agree. I just think you need to see what you have in Fournette. And I think the Dallas game might be a good one to trot him out there. He's going to be fresh legs. It's not on film, so there's nothing to prepare for as far as him in a Bills jersey. And I don't think whether we have Fournette or Ty Johnson is the difference in us winning or losing this game. So I think it might be a good opportunity, but it is hard to justify pulling Ty Johnson. He's been producing, at times producing more than the other two. So how do you sit that guy down? So I understand it's a conundrum for sure.
A comment by Dunn716. Gonna need Terrell Jackson to play top notch against the Cowgirls. I know you're talking last game, but just thought I'd throw that out there.
100% agree with you. And actually, we're going to transition now into fact and flag and then get into next game. So your comment is very welcomed. And anytime you have a point, I don't care if it's relevant to what we're actually saying in that moment or anything. If it has anything to do with the Bills, please share it with us.
I have one more thing. You again told me that sneaking out the running backs earlier gives one, Allen another option, and two, I think Dorsey and Dable, they were both worried about that. But Josh Allen can take on one or two free rushers if he has to.
Yeah.
Obviously, we saw that because all four guys were coming at him at one point, yet he still made a nice play. So
yes, I'm glad you brought that up. The point that I was making was that keeping that extra blocker in there is fine, but would we rather have Allen have to stall for another second or two, but find an open guy, or give him an extra 3 seconds to throw the ball, but there's nobody open? I mean, it's just common sense. Like, you got to give him some type of outlet. And those running backs leaking out of the backfield, they get forgotten about a lot when you have to worry about Josh's legs too. So I do think that it's made a big difference and it's helped a lot. It can be. So we're going to move on to Fact or Flag now, right? This is Mini Mafia's favorite part. So for those of you who've never been with us before, Fact and Flag is essentially a trivia game. So I'm going to read a statement, and then Mini Mafia is going to say whether he thinks it is true or false. If he believes it's true, he will say fact. If he thinks that it is false, he will say flag, and he will wave his yellow flag. So, ready for the first one? And please feel free to play along in the chat. Love to hear what you have to say. Jason N here, another comment. Speaking of Baltimore snatched the undrafted QB Malik Cunningham from New England's practice squad, and this kid is young mirror image of Jackson. Yeah, I was kind of surprised that New England didn't try him out a little bit more. It seemed like they didn't really have anything to lose. So it'll be interesting to see what Baltimore does with them. I could even see them getting him out there for some gimmick plays with two quarterbacks on the field. So it'll be interesting to see. Do you want to read this one up?
Yes, Dunn716. They not going to bring up Fournette unless there's an injury. You go with the hot hand.
And I get what you're saying. I really do. I just think Fournette's experience in the playoffs makes him really, really important to this team, especially I know we have Murray in there, but Cook and Ty Johnson don't have playoff experience. I don't believe Ty Johnson does. So having another guy in there who has shown up really big in big moments, Cook doesn't. Oh, he did last year, but he didn't do much. He wasn't like a featured guy. Having a guy in there who showed up really big in the big moments would be really important for us, but you can't throw him in there ice cold into the playoffs. Like, you got to get him in a game before the postseason. So maybe the New England one, because again, if it comes down to which running backs we had in there to beat New England, we're doing something very wrong, and I'm worried. So maybe they try him out there then.
Johnson, Cook, and Fournette in there.
I don't think they're going to take out Murray. They like him in pass protection, and they like him in short yardage. I don't think they're going to take out Murray. They're going to take out Johnson if they take out anybody. But all right, we're going to move on to fact or flag here. So, ready for the first one?
Yes.
All right. The Cowboys have only given up one passing TD to tight ends all season. Flag?
Yep.
All right. I'll give a chance here in the chat and see if anybody guesses here. So the question is, the Cowboys have only given up one passing TD to tight ends this season. And just curious, what makes you think it's a flag?
Well, it depends on what moment you're talking about, because Trayvon Diggs went down with a torn ACL in practice. That was heartbreaking.
Yes. Spears Bills Talk believes it's true, and Beth believes it's a flag. Go ahead.
I think it's a flag because they would need like Trayvon sometimes, like maybe like match up against tight ends. I would think.
Okay.
Because like I think he's like one of like the bigger guys.
Okay.
Like a little bit more physical, but I haven't watched the Cowboys, so I don't know.
Oh, you're good, Dunn. Dunn said here, yeah, the hot hand comment was just answered someone in the chat. It wasn't directed towards you guys, but yes, go with whoever will be the best. I totally feel you. And it really is I'm not sure what to do. Like, I get why they're keeping Ty Johnson in there. Just really would like to see Fournette too. You know what I mean? So I think it was a valid comment no matter who it was directed at. So thank you for sharing. Okay, so we have Jason N also agreeing with you in flag. And you guys who said flag are correct.
Yeah,
so they've actually given up 6. Now, there's 3 teams who've given up 7 passing TDs to.
They got 2 tutties.
Okay. There's 3 teams who've given up 7 passing TDs to tight ends. And then 6 is the next highest, obviously, because 7 and then 6. So the Cowboys have, compared to the other teams, have given up a lot of passing tight ends to passing TDs to tight ends. So let's see if that, running that 12 personnel, which is when we have Knox and Kincaid out there together. Let's see if we can't be productive with that, at least in the red zone, but hopefully to get down the field as well. All right, ready for the next one?
The tight ends is a tongue twister.
It is. All right, you ready for the next one? You ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. Cowboys defender Deron Bland broke the single season record with his 6th pick 6 this season.
Who is that?
Deron Bland. He's number 26 for the Dallas Cowboys. And good job to you guys who guessed that right in the chat as well. But on to the next one here. So the Cowboys defender, Deron Bland, he just broke the single season record with his 6th pick 6 of the season.
I don't know. I have never heard of him, but I think he would be good. Because I never heard of Rasul Douglas, but he's good. So.
Okay. And then I
know 6 pick 6s are really hard to do, though.
That's a lot.
I think it's a fact.
You think it's a fact? Okay. We got Beth here saying she believes it's a fact.
Let's go.
We got Spears Bills Talk saying he also thinks it's a fact. And let's see. Nothing planned about him. That's cute. I like that. It is in fact a fact. So Josh Allen needs to be very aware of where number 26 on the Cowboys is, because that man is a ball hawk. Like he knows it. Now, to me, like anybody who's getting that many interceptions and pick 6s is clearly jumping routes, which means he's susceptible to double moves. I'm not sure he's gone up against a route runner as elite as Diggs.
I think Diggs is the best route runner of the entire league.
We'll see what happens there. But good job to you guys in the chat. Good job to you too as well, Mini Mafia.
Last game, you were talking to me during the game that they need to fake the bubble screen. If we fake that,
no, and we tried at one point. It wasn't there.
Bland, if we fake that, obviously he's jumping routes, so he would probably jump it.
It's very possible, yeah.
So we fake it, then we have Diggs or Cook swing out for the deep ball. Yeah. Like if we have a single high safety, then I think it's a possibility.
Yeah, I think it's possible. We'll have to see, how they come out and how they play us and how aggressive they get. But either way, keep an eye out for number 26 with Allen. How many interceptions he's thrown this year? We all know it's been like 8 games in a row that he's thrown a pick. And with number 26 out there running around, as Beth said, there's nothing bland about him. Please keep an eye on him. Done 716 here saying, now is that because the defense? Because last year Trey Diggs had a lot of picks. Good for him though. I hear you. Clearly, that defense puts their cornerbacks in a position to get a lot of picks. Obviously, there's still some athletic ability required there.
Actually,
but
it's a
whether the
flag. He's
defense
tied.
is putting him in, I thought he just beat it, Jason. But my apologies if it's tied now. I thought 5 was the previous record. I thought 6 beat it. But I could have looked at the information and processed it wrong there. Whether or not Bland and Diggs are really that talented or the Cowboys defense is that good, either way, it's scary to have a quarterback who's been throwing interceptions every game go up against it. But it is a valid point. The Cowboys defense is clearly putting these guys in a good position. All right. Yeah, Allen needs not to make it 10 straight games with a pick. I'm with you there. Like, give us one where there's no pick. But Bland one-on-one is a little iffy from what I've seen in the Seahawks game. Yeah, anybody who's getting that many picks is going to have a propensity for getting beat too. Trey Diggs did, Trayvon Diggs. So I think there is you can be exploited, but Allen can't take the bait because this guy has got to be baiting quarterbacks if he has that many.
Jason said we have to watch out for Parsons too.
Parsons terrifies me. Micah Parsons might be the most dominant defensive player that we've ever seen in the NFL. And like the Beth B, there you go. Parsons scares me. Beth, we're like sharing a brain here, man. Parsons terrifies me. Like he is going to be living in the backfield, and Allen needs to, like, every time he walks up to that line, know where number 11 is because he's coming after you. My guess is he's going to line up over Spencer Brown a lot, which is not a great matchup for us.
Imagine Spencer Brown doesn't allow him to get through the line.
Yeah, that is what I was actually going to say. Done 716. The key to pushing Parsons back is to run the ball down his throat. He is a little undersized for where he is, I think. So, and he gets moved off of blocks. Like he gets moved around by the offensive lineman. So in the run game. So if you run it right at him, however, the Bills very rarely run off the right edge. And I think that's where he's going to be lined up. So we'll have to see which tendency breaks. Either Parsons, I know he moves around, but either the other team's strongest pass rusher not going up against Spencer Brown or the Bills running towards the right, or do they just say, never mind, we're going to do it our way and see what happens? We need to pick Dak Prescott off 2 times. That'd be nice. I'd like to see that.
Or a forced fumble.
How tall is Dak? I think Dak is like 6'4". I think, but I'd have to double check it.
Like 6'1", maybe 6'2".
I think he's taller than that. That's like just slightly taller than Russell Wilson. So here, while we're looking that up, though, he's not. While we're looking that up, I'll read you the last one here. So this is the last factor flag. He's 6'2", Beth. I just found it. So 6'2". You're right. He's not shorter than Russell Wilson, though. He's 5'11". So 6'2". He does have some issues throwing over the line at times. So Bland does have the record of pick 6 with 5. Okay, so he does have the record, but I don't know, either the record's tied at 5. I thought that he had it at 6, but again, I was kind of skimming the paper, the info there, so maybe I just processed it wrong. Appreciate the clarity there, Jason. Okay, so the last factor flag for the day. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. CeeDee Lamb is obviously the biggest target for the Cowboys in the passing game. But their player with the second most receiving yards is their second-year tight end, Jake Ferguson. Now, remember, they have Brandon Cooks and Tony Pollard and all that. But their second highest receiving yards person is their second-year tight end, Jake Ferguson.
I mean, they do like tight ends.
They do.
Because I forgot that one tight end, but he was like really good.
Yeah, and while Mini Mafia is thinking about this here, I see that Beth said, but look at our D line height. We tip it a lot. I agree. I don't think Epinesa is going to be playing in this game. I heard he was week to week, which means he's going to be out for a little while. I think this is a game we really could have used him. I was just saying that earlier today. It's really crazy how much you're reading my mind. I was just saying that earlier today. This is a game that I really felt like Epinesa could have gotten another one of those because I think Dak will give you opportunities, especially with the West Coast offense, because the ball's got to come out quick. I think the D-line getting their hands up is going to have a big part in this game.
A comment by Dunn716. For that would be good for this game. Bigger body backs to play smash mouth football. bring it back to the 80s, 90s, and ground and pound it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I think wearing down the defense and Micah Parsons early in that game and just running the ball at them over and over and over again, mostly with Murray and Fournette. And then a little bit of Cook for the speed and the possible, home run ability. I think that's a great game plan. And then you start going to the play action and you get that rolling. Okay, so we have people saying here true, fact. Beth saying fact. By the way, Jason saying fact.
By the way, I did not look at the comments.
Saying fact, and you are all saying fact, and that is a fact. So, Jake Ferguson has been the second favorite target of Dak Prescott.
Obviously, we need to. I would think we wouldn't play man. We would play zone.
We usually do play zone, yes. So
I would want probably Bernard to stay in the middle, but Dorian Williams on the
he hasn't been playing a whole lot, but we'll see how they decide to play it. I don't think he's unguardable. However, in a West Coast system, guys are going to get open very early on in the play, and a tight end has a bigger body. He's a bigger target. So when he is covered, it's easier for a tight end generally for a quarterback to throw to a tight end and for him to make a contested catch than like a Hardy receiver. You know what I mean? Or even a Shakir. It's easier to hit that big body tight end close to the line of scrimmage when there's a bunch of guys in between. So I think that's where a lot of it's coming from. But he is talented and he is a threat, and the Bills need to be aware of him. We have only given up 3 touchdowns to tight ends this year. So we are obviously protecting the tight end, securing the tight end position a lot better than Dallas is. And hopefully that continues with Dallas against our tight ends as well as us against their tight ends. Okay, so we are done with Fact to Flag. You guys did a really great job. I think most of you got them all right, and you also got it all right. So congratulations, guys. All right, we're going to move on now to the things to watch for the upcoming game. So this is all about the Dallas Bills matchup here. You want to go first? All right, tell us what we need to watch.
Bernard.
All right, what do you mean by that? Like, elaborate.
Bernard had a bad game last week. I know everybody makes mistakes, but I think he's going to be mad about the way he played, and he's going to come out huge. I will explain why. I will explain how he's going to come out huge later.
Okay. I agree with you. I think we need a big game out of Bernard. Whether or not we get one, obviously yet to be seen. But I think we do need a big game out of Bernard. I want to see. I want to see him involved in a lot of plays early, get his confidence up, and get the defense rolling. So I'm all for that. Jason here saying, but Lamb tends to do a lot of run end arounds. That's the one thing our defense has to look out for. I agree with you. The best thing to do against a speedy defense, which the Bills do have, especially in the front 7, is to do misdirections, and end arounds are a big part of that, wide receiver end arounds like that. So yeah, it's something they need to be on alert for, and they need to be very disciplined, because if you get an underround run against you, you can't do the dive at the ankles thing in the backfield, leaving the rest of your team hanging out to dry. And you can't fall in with the rest of the blocks in by the line to try to make a play because you've been on the fake. You have to stay out and stay on the edge and set that edge. Push the guy back towards the middle where all your help is. Beth B here agreeing with you.
Thank you, Beth.
You want to read what she had to say?
Yes, I think Bernard will have that rebound game. He's due for a pick anyway. Yes, he is.
I think Mini Mafia might agree with you here. We get to our hot takes.
I think Jason. I think everybody remembers the days earlier in the season when Bernard was going absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Getting interception after interception. Terrific play after terrific play. Sacks, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries.
Agreed. And Jason here pointing out, watch out for Dallas's kicker. Yeah, I don't want this game to come down to field goals. And I wouldn't normally say that about another kicker coming into Buffalo. That guy is insane. Like, what did he make? 3 kicks of more than 50 yards versus the Eagles? And, like, the one was, like, 61. The other one was 59. Like, the guy's just a beast. He's never kicked in the NFL before. He was a professional soccer player. And now he's just 100% on field goals. Like, it just doesn't matter. He was 7 for 7 for over 50 yards. Like, crazy stats. Like, yeah, that guy, like, if they're kicking for 3, just give them the 3 points. Like, we're in trouble, like, if it comes down to field goals. Because I love Bass, but if you put those 2 guys out there and say whoever misses first loses, yeah, I'm worried. That kicker is legit. So thank you for pointing that out because I forgot to put that in my notes, and that was actually something I did want to bring up. So thank you, Jason. All right, my defensive thing to watch because I have one on each side here is shut down the run. I think the key to beating Dallas is making them one dimensional. I want them to
Now they
make
don't have
Dak beat
Zeke,
us.
so
Yeah, Zeke didn't really scare me, but I want them make Dak beat us. In the West Coast offense, the ball has to come out fast. It's all about timing. If you guys will notice, he'll go into a 3 or 5 step drop, maybe even a 7. When his back foot hits the ground, either the ball comes out or within a second of that, he's moving. He's getting out of the way of traffic. We need to make sure we are taking away that first place he wants to go with the ball. It's not a lot different than playing against Miami with Tua. However, I don't think that Dak completely falls apart when the first play isn't there. I think he's able to make plays on second effort. Whereas Tua, I think he just doesn't know how to improvise. But yeah, to me, the key to beating Dallas and shutting them down offensively is to take away that run game and make them one dimensional. So that would be my defensive key. Do you have an offensive player to watch?
no, I do not.
Okay. Well, I'm going to share my offensive player to watch. I think that Diggs is due for a big game. And I've been saying this for weeks, but I think this is the game he's really going to show up. I think Diggs is going to have over 100 yards, which he hasn't had since October 15th against the Giants. And I think it's going to be one of those games where he kind of takes over, where Allen is just feeding him the ball and he's making play after play after play when our offense needs something. So that would be my guys to watch. Beth, I'm not sure Dak is good enough to beat our defense on his own. He is mobile though. Have to watch the edge, the legs. Yep. I'm with you. His legs don't scare me nearly as much as like say a Mahomes, but you do have to be aware that he will take off on you, especially like for a key first down. And make sure that we're keeping an eye on that. I don't think it's necessarily something we have to like keep a guy in to spy, but the defensive line need to remember how they rushed last week and do that again, similar to that. Because if you can collapse the pocket down on him, you don't give him an opportunity to use his legs. But I'm with you. I agree. I don't think Dak by himself can beat us. So if you take away that run game, I think that the Bills have a real shot at winning this game, better than a shot. Okay. If you guys have any players to watch for the upcoming week, please feel free to share it here. I think Beth there said Diggs. And Mama again, get out of my head. Yeah, I hear you. I don't know what's going on here with the two of us. It's funny. All right, on to Josh Allen's stat line. So, would you like to go first or second here?
1 second. Spears Bills Sports Talk. We should be able to sack that.
Yeah, he's been getting rid of the ball really quickly this year. But if you can make him double clutch the ball, I think our D line can win up front. So I'm with you on that. But you got to be able to take away that first read. So we can't be playing 15 yards off of the receivers or 10 yards off of the receivers because then it doesn't matter. The pressure isn't going to make any difference. So. And like Beth pointed out earlier, D linemen get those hands up because you will have an opportunity to tip passes.
I will go first in my Josh Allen stat line. Okay. I have him throwing for 326 yards, 17 for 25, 4 touchdowns, 16 rushing yards, and 0 rushing touchdowns.
Wow. Okay. So you got a 4 touchdown day for him. And interceptions? Yes, no, maybe? No interceptions. All right. We're going to break it. We're going to stop it here. All right. I think that would be a great stat line. If he puts that up, I think we're winning that game. I think the only thing I would disagree with you personally on are the passes, the numbers. I think there's gonna be more passes than that, but we'll see what happens. Maybe it's a big time
Imagine I get all of these exactly right.
That'd be amazing. Jason here saying that his player to watch is Shakir. Yeah, I like Shakir, man. That guy, he's got something, and him and Allen are finally getting some chemistry. Yeah, I think he can be big. I also think our tight ends could play a really big role, as I mentioned earlier. So yeah, let's see Shakir get going and be that threat, to catch the pass and pick up that yards after catch. My Josh Allen stat line isn't quite as wow as yours. I have him around 260 yards. I believe the Cowboys defense has only given up about 188 passing yards a game. So they have not surrendered a ton of yards this year. They've been able to keep guys in check for the most part. But I have him about 260 passing yards, 3 TDs. I do think he's going to throw a pick. I don't know. I guess until he proves to me that he can go a whole game without throwing one, I can't keep saying he's not going to throw one. It hasn't been working out. I've been
Imagine
saying
this
it
is
every
the
week.
one game
I'll take it.
that has like the best interception people in like the entire NFL, and he doesn't throw a single interception.
If that's the case, then I'm going to
Super
call.
ironic.
I'm going to call for an interception every week if that's the case. I also think he'll add around. I also think he'll add around 50 yards on the ground. So I think his day in all will be around 300 yards. But as long as he's willing to get out and use his legs, I'll be happy, which he seems like he has been lately. Spears Bills talk here saying 3 TDs, 1 interception, 2 rushing TDs, 1 rushing. I'm not sure. So I think you're saying 3 TDs total and 1 rushing. Then one of those will be a rushing TD, and then the interception there. So I could see that for sure. That's about what I have here. I don't know if all 3 TDs will be just passing or if they'll be a rushing, but I think he'll have 3 total. Okay. Anything else you want to add on the Josh Allen stat line?
No.
Okay. And again, anybody else who has a Josh Allen stat line, please feel free to share it below. Hot take review. So last week, you unfortunately did not get yours. You thought Mahomes was going to throw 2 picks. He only threw 1. However, he did miss a few passes. You were halfway there. I guess you could say I barely missed mine. I said Cook was going to have 150 all-purpose yards. He ended with 141. I think I'm giving myself credit for it. He had a big game, which is what I said was going to happen. So still on a roll here with these hot takes. Jason here saying they need to put Johnson on special teams and roll with Cook, Murray, and Fournette on offense. Yeah, I mean, the fact that Johnson can play special teams does allow us to use up a roster spot on him in a different area where he's still available at running back if we absolutely needed him. So that's not a bad idea. I just think it's, as people were saying earlier, it's hard to justify taking it away from a guy who's picking up 5-6 yards a carry, but you brought Fournette here for a reason. So I can totally see both sides of it. This week, hot takes. Would you like to go first or second? Second. Okay. We're a little later than usual here tonight. My daughter had a concert, so we had to start at 8. So Minnie's getting a little tired here. So my hot take is, and I don't think this is going to really surprise anybody. Ed Oliver, who is from Texas, has historically had very big games when playing against the Texas teams. That's Dallas and Houston. I think this is going to be no different. Ed Oliver's been a beast all year. I'll admit I was one of the people that was a little worried when they gave him that contract. I thought it was a little bit big for what he had done. He has earned it. He may be the first guy that comes to mind, at least for me, that has played so much better after the contract and not going into the contract year. Usually they play at that level when they're about to sign it, and then they sign it and it drops a little. Ed Oliver's been the opposite. He told us when he signed the contract, he was going to show everybody why he was worth that money, and he has. So I think Ed Oliver is going to have a very, very big day. Now, sometimes it's hard with D linemen because sometimes they do things that doesn't show up on the stat line. So I'm not going to sit here and say I think he's going to have 4 sacks or any. I don't know the stat line, what the stat line will be. But I think that Ed Oliver is going to wreck that game at some point. I think he is going to be in the backfield so much blowing up plays that he causes them to have to change what they're doing. And I expect him to be applying a lot of pressure to Dak, even if he's not bringing him down. So that would be my hot take. I think watch for Ed Oliver. He's going to have a big day. Okay, what's your hot take?
I think my hot take is Bernard will have an interception and 1 forced fumble.
Okay, so that's 2 turnovers forced by Bernard, which you guys were talking about earlier, you and Beth, expecting him to have a bounce back game. So I'd love to see that. I think he may draw the tight end Jake Ferguson a lot, so he'll probably get his opportunities. Spears Bills talk here pointing out Andy Isabella didn't do anything for the Bills. He was only up the 1 game, right? And no, he didn't do anything quite there, but I still like having the guy around. I think he's a fan favorite and he's a good player. Douglas will get an interception. All right, Jason, I'd like to see it. I think Dak will give you an opportunity to. Vaughn is going to get a sack. Oh, Beth, I'd love to see it, man. I've been calling for it every week, and I did it this week because I just can't keep repeating it and be wrong. Just like with the Kincaid touchdown, I did that for like 4 weeks in a row. But I'd love to see Von get his first sack. He was so close last week, and even though he didn't get a sack, he made a difference in that game. So I would love to see Von show up with a sack this week. That'd be amazing. Okay, anything else you want to add to the hot takes?
No.
He's got a lot of pent up anger. Von needs to let it out this week. Let's see him do it. Is he also from Texas area? I think he might also be from Texas. So if that's the case, these guys like playing their hometown teams. There's something special about it for them. So let's see what happens. So nothing else on the hot take?
No.
All right, so we're on to our final segment here. We are going to give our score predictions for the game on Sunday. So again, if you have a score prediction, please feel free to share it. Von is from Dallas, Texas. Thank you. So he probably grew up being a Cowboys fan. So this is the time you're going to shine. Thank you, Beth. Man, you're quick. I don't need Google. I got Beth in the room. We're good. Thanks, Beth. Appreciate that. So he is from Dallas. You're 100% right. So what's your score prediction, Minnie?
Mine is 31-17 Bills.
Whew. You expect a big win.
It was initially 41-17.
Wow.
But I changed it.
40. I'll take either one of them. We win by 2 scores against Dallas after what Dallas just did to the Eagles. And teams are already afraid to play the Bills right now. They don't want any part of us. They're going to be real scared if we do that to Dallas. We do have our home crowd, and Josh, I don't know if you guys saw, he challenged the fans. He said, we need you guys out there. We feed off your energy. Every false start, every delay of game, every time there's a miscommunication, it's because of you guys and all that. He said all the right things, but he basically told Bills Mafia, we need you to be loud. We need you to show up. So I think they're going to show up in full force on Sunday for sure. So 31-17 for Mini Mafia. Yes. I would love to see his score over mine, just because it would be nice to have a game that I don't feel like my heart is going to explode at the end, Bills. Could you give me one of those this year? Just like I know we had them earlier in the year, but could you give me one now, like in the next few weeks, where there's no sweating it? Like we're just laughing and having a good time in the fourth quarter, and I'm not ready to chew my fingernails off and throw up and all that. Please, just one. It's never easy with them, right? My score prediction, I still do have the Bills winning, but it is a little bit closer. I have a 28-24 game. So I think it'll be kind of a back and forth. I think it'll stay close all game. And it'll be Josh Allen this time, not so much the defense that finishes things off. So I think 28-24. What kind of guesses? Oh, Jason's in my head now. We have Spears Bills talk 24-27 Bills. Read Amy Wagner's there.
By Amy, 31-24. Go Bills.
31-24. I'll take it. And then we had Jason's there, which was 28-24, which was mine, Bills. So we all got the Bills winning. I think at the end of the day, we don't care if they win 3-0, 2-0. If they win, we feel good about it, right? If they win, it makes
It might be a really weird score, but we don't care.
It'll make everything a little easier. And that Chargers game now on the 23rd is looking a little easier because Herbert may not be there. So that game has suddenly gotten a little easier. And then you got the New England game, which we should win. And then you're in Miami, which I got to say, I've been calling Miami frauds all year. I don't think they're as good as their record says. And I think they showed that Monday night against the Tennessee Titans. I hate Miami. I'm a Bills fan. It's in my blood to hate them.
Well, how did Miami lose to the Titans, bro?
But
the Titans.
I just don't think are you serious though? Look who we lost to.
Fair.
We should have lost to the Giants with Tyrod Taylor. So I can only talk so much trash there. But I don't think the Dolphins are as good as people believe they are. I really don't. Amy Wagner, that will be Saturday against the Chargers, and no sweat game. Go Buffalo. I'll take it. I'd like to see it now, but I'll take it Saturday too. Beth here, I'm not sure what the score will be, but I think it will be close regardless. Yeah. I was actually saying, she really is in my head, man. I was saying earlier that I really thought it was going to be like a close 3-4, maybe 5-point game, but I had no feel for this one. Like if you told me the final score was 45-40, I'd be like, okay. If you told me it was 14-10, I'd be like, okay. I have no idea what the score is going to be. It's It's a shot in the dark.
If you said it was going to be 6-3, okay.
I really I just don't have a feel for this score. Sometimes the games are just like that. I just don't have I just don't have a gut feeling about where it's going.
I think it's going to be a shootout.
Please no OT. I'm so torn about that, Spears, because I think at some point here, Allen has to get an OT win just for his mentality. He's got to get a win in OT. And he's done his job in OTs. He scored a field goal, and then our defense has let us down. So he needs to go down a field, either score a field goal in the defense hold or score a touchdown and end it. But I don't know, we can't drop a game now. So we can't have any more oopsies. So, yeah, I would prefer no OT for sure. But if we go to OT, there is an upside in my mind.
Herbert will be playing us.
He will still be out. Yeah, I think he broke a finger. So he's probably done for the year.
And they're down 21, I think, first quarter against Raiders.
Oh, wow. So they're getting crushed right now, too. Yeah. So Raiders, I don't know. I mean, that game when the schedule came out looked like it was going to be, a game. And now, obviously, the Chargers have had a disappointing season. Not that the Bills haven't, but the Bills are trying to turn it around. So that's not as tough of a game as it looked.
A count by Jason had 3 players and 1 personnel for Buffalo talked to Matt Ariza this morning, but they won't say who talked to him.
I won't go into too much detail because it was a legal issue, and I'm sure it's controversial and people feel different ways. The only thing I will say is that if a court of law is not able to find him guilty of anything, which is where it stands right now, you got to feel bad that the guy lost everything based on a lawsuit that went nowhere. And whether it's with the Bills or not, I really hope he gets a shot because he's just got drafted. His whole life was about to start. And then this all happened. And if he did something wrong, I want him to spend prison time. I want him to get full justice. But if it goes the way that it appears like it is now, that it's all done and over with and everything is he's not accused of anything or anything, I feel bad. I want the guy to have a shot.
Beth B saying, sign back Matt Ariza, bring back the punt god.
And that one punt he had in that preseason game was incredible. And he's athletic too. He'll run down and make a tackle for you. So I wouldn't mind seeing him in a Bills jersey. I don't know if he'd want to come back to Buffalo after the way they dropped him, but you can't blame them for not wanting all of that distraction and PR on them when he was just a drafted guy. It's not like he was a vet and we knew him and he had been here for a while.
Beth B commented he was 100% cleared legally today.
Yes, he was. Now, that doesn't mean that nothing else can come up, which is what I meant by as long as it continues to go the way it looked today, he deserves a shot.
They were dropped.
Yep. And that's the only condition, they didn't ask for him to admit he did anything or anything like that. He said he was innocent the whole time. The only condition was that he had to drop his defamation suit, which I mean, he had one. She ruined his life with her lawsuit. So he can still sue her attorney for defamation, though, for the record, in case anybody was wondering. They could possibly bring him back because Martin hasn't been good. Martin's been streaky to me. He had that one game where he pinned him inside the 5 2 or 3 times. He's consistent enough for what we need our punter to do, but there's not going to be a difference, I don't think, in a game. And I think Matt Ariza could possibly be the difference.
Who says we won't put Ariza at kicker?
We won't. He was a field goal kicker and punter in college, but he wasn't drafted as a kicker. He's not going to be more accurate than Bass. Love Bass. Got to give Ariza a chance. He has been removed legally from the lawsuit. Good for punt god. Go Bills. Yep, Amy, I'm with you. Give him a shot. I'd love to see him get in here. Vaughn charge is dropped, right? I heard that. I got to be honest with you. I haven't had time to look into it, but I hope it's been dropped. And if, again, same thing as Matt Ariza, I don't care who you are. If he did it, he should be in prison. He should be in trouble. He should be charged the fullest extent of the law. I am by no way trying to justify any criminals just because they wear a Bills jersey. But if they haven't been found guilty, we shouldn't be destroying their lives. Beth, yes, 100%, Mama, and he is pursuing a suit against the lawyer. He should. I mean, the guy ruined his life. He did have the one good punt in the Chiefs game, 50-yarder. Sam Martin. Yep. So I think Sam Martin is good enough, but yeah, he's nothing special, and Ariza can be special. Whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty? Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes those allegations come out there and there's no way to prove a negative. So they just kind of stick. And it's unfortunate. It was really bad timing for him. If it had happened a year later, I don't think he gets dropped. It was unfortunate for sure. And I know you don't really know the details as much of what we're talking about now, but anything else that you would like to add to the wonderful people that we've shared our evening with talking Bills football?
Just Merry Christmas, and I hope you all have a very happy holidays.
Yeah, and I hope everybody out there has a wonderful holiday and a safe holiday. Enjoy your families, and hopefully we'll all be in good moods from Bills football. I just realized that even if no, because next week is the Chargers game, so I won't see you guys. Hopefully we'll see you guys before New Year's, and we'll be able to check in with you then. But if not, have a happy New Year's as well. And yeah, hopefully the next time we're talking live, then if I don't get in here before New Year's, it'll be about playoff football. So yeah, then everybody, happy holidays, safe, wonderful holiday. Thank you so much for being here tonight. You guys were amazing. Had a really great time chatting with you guys and hearing what you had to say and your feedback. So thank you so much for giving us your time tonight. And yeah, until next time, right? Go Bills.
Go Bills. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more amazing content.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.